Welcome everyone, this is Corey Babka from ArcsGroupLive.com here today going over transferring data from other systems into other CRM systems, specifically into your Zoho CRM. How do I migrate from my old to my new? All right, we're going to go over that today. It's just a migration process that actually happens as an import, and there's a nice little piece that allows us to do it inside of Zoho CRM. It's actually allowing you to choose from multiples, and it's smart enough to know how do I get this done. Okay, so some takeaways from today. We're going to talk about using the import function to migrate data from the other CRMs, like I said. We're going to talk about how do I get there? How do I back up my files, and then what do I do with those files? And then we're going to talk about the mapping process, the migration process, and what actually goes into it as we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump right to it. Get right into Zoho and show how it's done. So once we're in here, what we're actually going to end up doing is going to the setup area. And once I'm in the setup area, if I look at, there's nothing in here that says data migration or anything like that, but if you look at import, which I think is kind of a misnomer, because if we look at imports, if I want to import leads, you actually do it this way. You go actually into the module itself and you say, I want to import leads. Walks through from a file, maybe another CRM if you want to do it this way, and if you say another CRM like this, and I say next, I actually go into that same area that we're going to end up with called the data migration. Right, so I go back into my setup, which is the gear and the wrench and the screwdriver. If you're in CRM Plus, it's a gear. And I go into import. Now import allows you, and it shows everything that's going on here, okay, and what's there, right? So it shows me Salesforce, another Zoho instance, okay, Microsoft Dynamics, Pipedrive and Sitely, Zoho Contact Manager, which is one of their older ones, and there's High-Rise CRM and anything else that's others. If you wanted to, if let's say you're coming from Goldmine or Act, you could just do other CRM and go from there, right? So I'm going to look at my Salesforce one is what I'm going to do there. You notice that everything is now here. Before it was grayed out because I was in the middle of one that I canceled earlier. If I go to Dynamics, it actually just asks me to drag and drop files, okay? If I go back and I do Salesforce, it's going to say the same thing. So it's not like it looks at it and says, you know, the ideal situation would be the ability to log in directly to Salesforce or Dynamics and have it move data over. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. This is an actual import process. There's a mapping involved. It talks about modules that needs to be created, and you kind of go from there. So I'm going to actually browse from my files. Now, earlier today, what I did was I actually did a backup of my Salesforce, and when I did that, it creates a zip file, and there's 4 different records that I have here: account, contact, lead, opportunity. Those are just CSV files that come over. All my custom fields are in there. I could have, of course, done a lot more, but any of the CRM systems that I'm used to and that I know allow you to back up your data or export all of your data into like zip file format or CSV format, okay? What I'm going to do now is browse for that file. If I go to my desktop, right, I go there and I look and I say open, and now it says file uploaded, and it knows. I could have done each individual file by itself if I wanted to, but in this case I just did the zip file, which is really nice, okay? And I do zip file and I do next, and then it's going to do this little processing piece. It's going to send an email to me when it's done, but it doesn't take that long for it to figure out what is actually out there. What I did find before is when I was waiting for this, when I hit discard migration, it actually kind of loads it in, and I hit cancel, right? And now here I am. A little bit impatient, but yes, it will normally email you and you can just go back in and pick up where you left off, right? So now, there were 4 files in that zip file, right? Of those 4 files, they were accounts, contacts, leads, and deals, which is the same thing in the modern CRM industry as an opportunity. So it's smart enough to know that these are the opportunities. And if I look at it here, I can look at the file. It shows me all my rows that are in here, all my opportunities, all the different fields that are there, and we can go there, right? Now you'll notice unmapped modules. There's 41 modules total in Zoho CRM. I've only mapped 4 of them. These are the 37 that aren't there. So you could definitely map. If you create custom ones, you can map others, right? I'm just going to talk about the ones that are mapped, okay? Again, here's my account file. Shows me all my information. Okay, all those things that are out there. Typical import process, right? It knows what they are. Next, what I'm going to do, though, is we have to go to the field mapping. So I'm going to say next. I could also create a new module if I wanted to. If, let's say, there was one out here called security, and I don't have it in here, I can create a new module to map it out, right? And we could do it that way. Next, field mapping. So here on the left, I can navigate through my different entities, different objects or modules, and say contacts, here's the mapping. Okay, unmapped fields 23, mapped fields 37. Great. So there's some very similar ones that are out there, which is fine, and those are mapping, right? And then I've got unmapped fields, and I could do this. Now, you would see if I go to all fields, I can actually go through my items and say first name, last name, good, other street, other city, that's excellent, that's good, other latitude, longitude. I can keep going through all of this, okay? Mobile phone, home phone, a lot of it's pretty smart and it will know, title, etc. Deals, same idea. Go through here, look at my items. It's private, sort order, expected revenue. Well, maybe that's what I need to choose in here, and I need to see, I'm gonna just search for amount received or just mapped. See, and that's already there. Amount is mapped already. So what is it mapped to? So we could do something more of like expected revenue instead. Right? We'll just do revenue, and it's not there. So maybe we have to create a custom field. All right, and that's what this plus button will allow me to do it there. Right? And so we could go from there. Or this is where we would actually add in another if we wanted to go to multiple places, okay? Because I have amount somewhere here. Amount is select field to import. It should go to the amount, right? But I want to see where is it. So it's if I say amount right there, that's my amount right there, okay? And I can keep going down. All my owners. You just have to, it's a little bit painful a process, but you got to make sure that this is clean. You got to make sure that this is done right. It's all mapped in correctly. If when in doubt, create a new field and put something in there. If there's an unmapped field, because now you notice as I map things, this is going to go down. If there's an unmapped field, create it, and that's it. And that's all you want to do, because I would rather I shove it into a place that it doesn't, into a new field that I can delete later, rather than have to go through the import process again. Okay, so keep that in mind. We do this, we do the leads, we save the mapping, okay, go to my leads here. Every time I change it out, it will prompt me to save the mapping. When I'm done, I'm going to click next. And at this point, I'm just reviewing it is what I'm doing, right? It's the more field mapping, okay, accounts, contacts, I have to do that. And I'm going to say save and next. Save some of the fields, so this is a nice one. So it couldn't save the account mapping yet because I don't have something correct. So date of birth and birth date, they're not matching out. But if I do this and say I want this, now I can save and next. Contacts are done. I go to my accounts, save and next, and then I review everything and it tells me what's going to go on. Okay, so I'm mapping in. I got 100% of my files are mapped, but within each file, I've only got 16, 36. There's a bunch of unmapped, so we might have to go through that and change that around. Again, we don't want to lose data, okay? So we've got our system working here for us, okay? And then we hit Start Migration, and away we go. And that is the way that you would migrate from another database, another CRM system, all right? If I do other CRM, I could just do CSV files right here. The trick, name those CSV files the same as your modules up here, and then it will know where they go. And then you just end up doing the whole mapping and allow it to import itself. It will make your world so much easier as a mass import than definitely doing it module at a time. Okay? So good stuff that way. All right, let's go back to what we learned today. So talking about the import function, I have that in quotes because it's more of a data migration. It's a CRM migration function, not an import function. Importing actually happens at the module level. This is a migration as in a mass import. I'm going to import more than one file at a time. Okay, you back up your files from your current CRM system into CSV files. Most systems do this already, either as a monthly backup or something you can extract. right? And then you're going to migrate them through. You load in the CSV files either as one zip file where it's smart enough to know which file maps to what module, and then from there you're going to create the mapping. Again, each CSV file should be its own module. Within each CSV you're going to have different columns, which would then be the fields that they're mapping. You want to make it that you're mapping every field, unless it truly is something you don't want to bring into the new system, which can happen. But when in doubt, I say make a new field and go from there. Okay? So, hope you enjoyed this one. I hope it brought a little bit to light for the data migration and transferring data from one CRM system to another, your new one, your Zoho CRM. Okay? Hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the others in the library. Any questions on this topic, any support needed, drop us a line, support@marksgrouplive.com. Any other questions, suggestions, so on and so forth, let us know. Otherwise, I'll see you around the library, and thanks for watching.